does not take a lot of time. This is known as Khul'u. In other words, whenever you hear the word Khul'u, it means the woman's wish to divorce. Khul'u is an Arabic term which means undressing. Okay? It means undressing, or it means putting off the clothes. So it simply means that this woman wants to get off the husband. That's why it is known as Khul'u. That is the literal what? Meaning. But technically, it means the wife securing a release. That is the first component. The woman is securing a what? A release from her husband, meaning that it is the wife asking for the release from the husband. Together? After paying a compensation. After paying what? A compensation. What we mean here is that whenever we talk about Khul'u, okay? Whenever we talk about Khul'u, we mean that it must fulfill these three basic elements. Together? Number one is the woman is asking for a release. You can as well call it freedom. What actually happens is that the woman wants to go, but maybe the man is insisting. You get it? So the law provided for her that she can seek for a release. She can secure her freedom. Together? And this freedom, it comes from the instance of the woman. It is the woman who asks, I want to go. Are we together? But when she gets or she concludes that she wants to go, she has to pay the compensation to the husband. You get my point? In other words, if a woman feels tired of her husband, she asks for divorce and she pays something in order to secure her freedom. Are we together? A question might come. Why does the law require the woman to pay? You get my point? Why does Islamic law require the woman to pay? After all, this woman has been in a relationship with the husband. She had served him. Probably she had even produced some children, isn't it? Why is it that it is a requirement that she has to pay? Any quick answer? In other words, is it fair that she should pay to go, having spent that long time? Yes?
Because the husband, conversation of what the husband has been using to take care of the lady. You look at starting from the day they got married, the Kwanjura, the things. So
but also like the woman has been doing the care. You get it? Actually, yes.
To show the man that I have left you, you don't have to disturb me anymore.
Exactly. This conversation has a lot of meaning. One is commitment. Have you ever thought about something that you get for free and something that you get after payment? Have you seen the difference?
yes.
Something that you secure after payment, you respect it. Isn't it? You respect it. That is why I might ask, do you know why we are suffering as Ugandans? Do you know why? What could be the reason? We like free things. One reason why actually we are suffering, because of the regimes, one regime comes, it plays around with you and so on, is, look at the history. How did you get your independence? Who are the students of history here? How many people died because we are securing independence in Uganda? Okay. When the Kenyans were getting their independence, what happened?
It was a type of war.
It was bloody. You heard about the Mau Mau rebellion? You heard about the Maji Maji? These people pay the cost to get independence. That's why they are respected people in their countries. Go to South Africa. I have been there twice. The black in South Africa is respected because he paid for his freedom. When it came to Ugandans, you think it is an issue of raising, I don't know, the Ugandan flag, and then you call it Union Jack.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who tells you? That is why up to now, even the colonial masters are not paying any respect to you. You are just cowards. What did you pay in order to secure your what? Independence. So just learn this from me. If at all you have an opportunity to pay to get something, please pay. Are we together? If there is anything I don't accept to bargain on, I don't bargain mahar. Do you get it? I want to marry a woman. She has asked for 1 million. Then I say, please decrease. You get my point? Whenever you pay, you attach respect and commitment. Are we together? So one thing why it is reasonable for this woman to pay, to show commitment and to show respect. A man who got your money, your mahar back, will not just play around with you. Actually, he will know that you are serious. Are we together? Number 2 is freedom. The best freedom is the freedom boat. Are we together? The best freedom is the freedom what? Boat. And it is something, by the way, you have to learn about. Don't make a call in my class. You either go out or you stay, but you can't make a call when you have entered here. Are we together? I'm saying that one thing you have to learn is to put some value in yourself. Are we together? Otherwise, ask yourself after graduation, what will make people run towards you? What's your value? You get the point? So the conclusion here is, women should not take it that after all that long I have been with him, why does Islamic law require me to pay? You pay for your own good. Together? So that's why the law requires that you pay that compensation. Fine? Now, having seen that, let's look at the authority. The authority is chapter 2, verse 429. You can refer to it. You know, which says that there is no problem for a woman to secure her release from marriage. That is the general meaning. Are we together? But the most elaborate proof and authority is the story of Qais bin Thabit. This is the first case of a woman securing her release from the husband. Fine? Are we together? Please settle quickly. I'm remaining with only 10 minutes to go. Okay? So we are saying that this is the first case of Khul'u in Islam. The first case. And by the way, when you listen to this case critically, you will not have any more doubt why a woman has to pay to go. Fine? The story goes as follows. Qais bin Thabit was married to a woman. Okay? And he left home, like in the morning, like the way we men go in order to look for provision, for reason. Together? Now, he went to Medina, the city of Medina. He went in a company with his friends. The woman left home and found Qais bin Thabit in a company of other 3 men. Together? After finding the 3 of them, she did not go back home. She just went straight to the Prophet and said, "O the Prophet of Allah, I am not complaining anything religious or any religious deficiency or weakness in Qais. Together? And I'm not complaining of any moral character. In other words, his religion, his character is okay. Are we together? But I fear disbelief after belief. I fear to become a disbeliever after having been a believer." You know, the Prophet was understanding the semantics and the, how do you call it, the rhetoric of his companions. So he asked her, "You mean you want to divorce him?" According to the narration, the Prophet just knew that she means, "I'm fed up." Are we together? He said, "I'm not complaining about his faith. I'm not complaining about his moral character, but I fear disbelief after belief." So the Prophet asked, "Do you want to divorce him?" She said, "Yes." Fine. The Prophet asked, "Will you return his garden back to him?" Because he had given her garden as dowry. She said, "Yes." What the Prophet did, he called for Qais. He said, call him. Are we together? Can you imagine a wife you left at home and then you end up being someone in the court that you know this wife you left home, she says she wants to do what? To go. So when the Prophet told Qais that your wife wants to go, Qais said, "No, she's not going anywhere. What have I done?" Are we together? There was no quarrel at home. There was no misunderstanding. There was no conflict. So that's why Qais was insisting that, no, she's not going anywhere. The Prophet patted, this is called patting, at the shoulder of Qais and said, "Accept your garden back to you and release her. Let her go." Are we together? Out of that story, that forms the first case of a woman asking for divorce. So out of that story, do you still have any doubt why you have to pay to go? By the way, we can add that this payment is also meant to mitigate disappointment. You get it? Can you imagine a wife I left at home and then I end up in a court and the court says your wife wants to go? Can you imagine that level of disappointment? So it's like you pay so that you can go. Are we together? Out of this story that I have briefly narrated to you, this takes us to the procedure. If a wife wants to go, the first step is petition. She shall make a what? A petition in law, it means like you open a complaint. She shall go to the imam, especially, by the way, the preference is the imam who joins them in nikah. Are we together? She shall go either to the mosque, to the imam, or to the court, say the Qadhi's court, and she says, I am tired, I want to go. She just has to go there and say that I am going. Are we together? Step 2, she can choose to justify or not justify. What we mean is, when the woman brings the complaint to the imam, some of you in this class who are imams, and she says, I want to go. It is her choice either to justify, that is to give the reason why she's going. She can also choose not to justify. If I may ask some men here, would you like the woman to tell you why she's leaving you? Under such circumstances? Would you like her to tell you? If I were the one, I'm not interested. Do you know why? If there could be anything positive out of telling me, are we together? It would have been one-on-one. You get what I mean? If there was hope of reconciliation, she would have told me at home. But the fact that she had gotten the guts to go up to the imam, to go up to the court and says, I want to go, then I don't need to know the reason. Are we together? Fine? By the way, these are some of the mistakes that we commit. Some of you are future husbands and wives. It's better to read the situation. Read the what? The situation. If a person has not talked to you at home, instead she went to the public, because the court is a public place, and said, I want to go, then start asking for reasons. My dear, you rather not ask for reasons. Are we together? One of the other reasons is, she might tell you the reason, and you can die still suffering from what she told you. Do you agree? Do you agree? She might tell you the reason why she's leaving in public, and that will be the end of it. Even if you marry others, you will carry that one psychologically. So you rather let her go in such a way. Don't seek to know. Are we together? That is the second reason why you should not ask for reasons. One reason, the first is, if there was hope, she would have engaged you at home. Together? Number 2, you might force her to tell you something and you suffer psychologically until you die. Number 3, women naturally are patient. What do you have, men? Do you protest? Women naturally are what? Some, yes. I'm talking about the ideal. You know ideal? Ideal situation. In other words, keeping other factors constant. Women naturally appreciate them when they are patient. Women are resilient. Women can persevere. Are we together? By the time she comes out to say, I'm going, my dear, don't ask for me. Are we together? Women pass through a lot. And by the way, sometimes we go back to our homes and they welcome us with smiling faces. Not because they are happy, but that is their nature. But my dears, try me, dare me. When I'm not happy, I will not hide. Are we together? That's just men. But Allah has created a woman with that ability to keep suffering from. A woman is a kind of a person who acts like a candle. She offers light while she's melting down. Am I right, women? That is you. Actually, I'm not flattering about you. I'm not just showering praises on you. That is you. And by the way, if you are not like that, you rather cross from being a woman to man. Are we together? If we were kind of my dear, you rather come to our side. That is us. Are we together? So that's it. So another reason why the Lord does not force the woman to tell the reason, naturally women are what? Are patient. Are we together? Number 4 is, are you noting? Women character. Women what? Of shyness. Okay? Some of the words that we can easily spit as men, women might not. Are we together? So that's why, please, the law secured her. The law considered that she's patient. The law considered that she's shy. And therefore, it is not her obligation to say that I am going because of A, B, C, D. I hope we are together. So, our second point is justify or not justify. If she chooses to justify means to give reasons. Are we together? It becomes a court case. It becomes a court battle. Because when you tell me I am going because you are beating me every day, then I have to defend myself that I'm not beating you. Are we together? Yet, you don't want that nonsense. You don't want to go into Kwewozako. For you, by the time you went to court, you have summarized everything, and the only thing you want is, I want to go. Are we together? So, that's why we say justify or not justify. Are we together? Then, step number 3, that is, number 1 is petition. Number 2 is either to justify or not to what? To justify. Number 4 is summon the husband. Okay? For consent. We are now in the real practice. The woman has come to you, you are the imam. She says, I am going. Don't force her to give a reason if she has chosen not to say the reason. Together? If she chooses not to give a reason, call the husband. Madam, you can't go without notification of the husband. The husband should know. When the husband is called, the imam will just inform him that, you know, the madam wants to go. Now look at Saddam. You are putting on a sweater, and then you are needing off. What is that? Is it smartness? That's why you cannot remove the sweater? Or the shirt has a problem? Eh? Okay? Anyway, leave that one alone. What I'm trying to say is, the imam shall call the husband to inform him and to seek for his consent. In other words, have you agreed that this woman should go? Are we together? What do you expect from the husband? Yes or no? Okay. What is much expected is a no. Isn't it? But in case he says no, the woman's right to go shall supersede. In other words, this is what we call in law that your consent as the husband is immaterial. It doesn't matter. It's more of a formality. Whether you say yes or no, she has to go. Are we together? Now the question is, if whether I say yes, she will go, and I say no, she will go. Why am I asked? What is the rationale? She might do what? Ah, my dear, second chance. If I say yes, she goes. If I say no, she goes. So, why am I asking? There is what? Eh. Mm. No. The law requires that you should be called.
But she's going.
Okay. Uh-huh. Why?
You are called because you should be let you know about it.
Okay.
That your wife is going.
Mm.
Whether you want or not, she's going.
She's going. So what's the purpose of that? To do what?
Evidence of what
It is actually an evidential matter. It should go on record. Are we together? It should go on record that you as the husband witnessed her going. Are we together? Because the women I know, they are good at changing goalposts. Are we together? If she's told by the imam, if you don't attend Habib, okay? And then she goes, as you said, I say no, she goes. I say yes, she goes. Why are they wasting my time? My dear, this woman can backtrack. You know, can just change immediately and say, me, I have never asked to do what? To go. Are we together? Now, whether you say yes, she goes. Whether you say no, she goes. It also gives a lesson to men. Okay? If this woman has said, I'm going, don't insist. Are we together? The simple logic is, why should you insist to live with someone who says, I'm not interested? Do you know what you are causing? Do you know what you are causing? Once you force her to be with you, then she will behave in any way that she wants. She will disobey. She said, go and see the one. For me, I told you I want to do what? To go. So let her go. Are we together? After that, compensation. After that, it is what? Compensation. In other words, the imam shall require her to return the dowry. To return the what? The dowry. That's what we mean by compensation. So we are here on that step. That compensation varies according to 3 ways. Are we together? Ideal. The ideal situation. Pay the dowry. In other words, return what you were given. I gave you the dowry of 1 million, return the 1 million. That is the ideal. Are we together? By the way, students of economics, the appreciation or depreciation factor does not apply here.
Yeah.
Are we together? If I paid her like 1,000 shillings during Obote time, don't say what is the equivalent of 1,000 in Museveni's time. She has to return 1,000. Are we together? 2 minutes, you know, in other words, there is no appreciation or depreciation. Together? So the ideal is pay back the dowry as you got it. So, okay? So that is the ideal.
We've talked about the law of appreciation and depreciation. Now, let's take a point of real estate. like he gave her this plot of land as mahar, and there was only one house, and she has built her other houses. And you have said there is nothing like depreciation or appreciation.
But
How-
is
how
that
do you ba-
appreciation or value addition? These are two different things. Is that appreciation or value addition? If I gave you a plot of land which is bare, it has nothing, then you construct it. Is that appreciation? Appreciation means by passage of time, the property itself has appreciated. Or by passage of time, it has lost value. But here, the construction is adding value to it. So in this case, her obligation is to return the plot, not with the buildings. Are we together? So that is the idea. Number two is she can pay more. The law can require this woman to pay more than the dowry that was given. Are we together? That's what we call discretion. In other words, the court shall look into the individual circumstances. Let me give you one small scenario which I was informed about. A young man, like you, a fresh graduate, married a very beautiful young woman. This is a true story. Okay? And as you know, once you graduate, you start running to school A, school B, so that you can collect something to put food on the table. The young woman was brown in color, more like a Swahili or Mchotara, and she was staying at home. Fine? But that home is closer to a mosque. So because the woman was having a lot of time, she could feel bored at home. After all, there is no TV, there is no what, and she could go to the nearby mosque to recite Quran. She was a good reciter of Quran. Now, here comes a Haji, who prays from that mosque routinely, this salat from Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Then whenever he comes, he hears the woman reciting Quran. Then he gets interested in knowing, hey, Hajat, you are new. Said, yes, I'm just a newlywed. My husband works with this and that. So what are you doing at home? Says, no, nothing. Where is your home? I'm renting somewhere. Not even self-contained, what? The Haji says, a young, beautiful lady of your character does not deserve to stay there. You know what will be the impact of that statement to a woman? You know? It changed her mind. And the Haji was like, I can offer you what you deserve. You know? Remember, the man has gone to look for provision. So as the man comes back, the woman has changed. No longer lovely, no longer welcoming, no longer obedient. The guy was like, what has changed? What is the problem? You know? When this young girl told the Haji that, but I'm married, said, don't worry, ask for Khul'u. Okay? The woman is like, I don't have the money to return, says, I can pay. Fine? At the end of the day, the woman stood before the husband and said, I want to go. You know? If you are the imam and you investigate that case, you find out that this woman is leaving because of the influence of this rich man. Are we together? Such a woman should not only return the dowry. You can ask that she should return more than that. Are we together? Okay. Then another scenario is less. That's why I tell the likes of Gava, Sharia is not by cram work. Are we together? You have read the verse, you have memorized it, then you come and issue fatwa. The Quran does not talk about these circumstances, but they are left to the Imam to look into case by case. The Imam can decide that this woman should pay less than what she got as dowry. after analyzing that, she had made a lot of effort. Okay? And probably the reason as to why she's going is because of your bad character as the husband. So the imam can declare that if you gave her 1 million and she wants to go, let her give 100,000. Are we together? And by the way, the last is no compensation. Some men actually don't deserve what? Compensation. That is when it is established that you are the source of her suffering. You are the reason why she wants to go. She has done all what it takes in order to reconcile, and you have remained adamant. Are we together? So, that is how we look at it. So, compensation shall be made, and after that compensation, it shall be a declaration. The Imam will say, after you have received your dowry back, from today onwards, I declare that Hafswa is no longer a wife to Abu Bakr. Are we together? It ends there. Finally, is the legal implication. The legal what? Our point here is, if a woman divorces you, are we together? What does that divorce mean? Especially vis-a-vis reunion. Can she divorce me and then we reunite later? Do you get the point? Just like in talaq, I give her the first talaq, we reunite. The second, we reunite. If she gives me divorce, can we reunite? Together? Some scholars say once you divorce a man, you will never reunite with him. And by the way, even if the law allows, one person will not accept. Do you know why? The question will be, what changed? If you had the guts to go to public and you say you are no longer interested in me, what has changed? Are we together? However, the preferred view is that they can reunite. They can do what? Because we are human beings. We can't see beyond tomorrow. We can't even see beyond evening. Maybe she went and wanted to go because of some issues. Now she has seen the reality and she wants to come back. But when she chooses to come back, her divorce, are we together? Her divorce counts. In other words, if she has ever divorced me, it means on record we have a divorce in that marriage. When I divorce her, those are two what? Divorces. Yet, at first, she's the one who divorced me. When she divorces me again, then those are third what? Divorces. And therefore, we cannot reunite until she goes and gets married to another man. Are we together? End of the lesson. Questions? Yes?
Now here comes the case. Maybe lady was given according to the dowry that is required.
She did what?
For example, maybe husband, the lady wanted 700 dowry, and the man gave her 200. But reach a moment when the man is not doing what he is required to do for the lady. They start that process of reconciliation and doing other things. But eventually the lady says that what no, now done with you. I'm going. Is it required for the lady to pay back the dowry when the man was divorced, or
I have answered it. It is the discretion of the Imam to look into case by case. Saddam makes sure that by today, by tomorrow, I have all the assignments. Yes, finally?
For example, I've given her a plot of land. Then she sold it. Then she sold it 1 million. After then, she wants to enforce it. But she has already sold the one. She gets the land that she sold, or she gets from me another plot.
She gives you the value of land by the time you pay it to her. Have you got it? If by that time the value of land was 1 million, that's it. She either gives you the same in kind, or she gives you the what? The value. Fine?